Well, just one short week from today, the first votes will be cast in Iowa, in the caucuses in that state. Both Donald Trump and Ted Cruz picking up big endorsements in the final push. Glenn Beck backing Cruz, and of course, Governor Sarah Palin backing Trump.
Wow. That as Trump leads the latest Fox News Iowa poll, with Cruz a distant second.
That's right. Well, here to announce a new endorsement live on Fox and Friends, former Texas governor and presidential candidate Rick Perry. Good morning. Thanks for joining us, and let it rip.
Well, it's a great privilege for us to be able to endorse Ted Cruz. You know, interestingly, he's from Texas. He was the Solicitor General while I was the governor, but I really didn't know Ted Cruz. I kind of had a picture of him, a caricature, if you will, from the media, from the political lens. And over the last 60 days, I've gotten the opportunity to really know Ted Cruz. He came to Round Top, Texas, spent a day with me, been on the phone with him multiple times since. And what I found was an individual who, probably one of the best listeners I've ever been engaged with on the political front. And he's not just quiet, he's listening, he's processing. He knows what he doesn't know, and I cannot tell you what a virtue that is in this business for the President of the United States, for an individual who wants to lead this country. And I am convinced, without a doubt, that on day one, this very committed conservative American will be ready to be commander-in-chief.
What doesn't he know, though?
Well, I think it's you know, he understands that he's going to need experienced individuals around him. For instance, nobody has worn the uniform of the country. Ted understands that to lead this country, to make sure America is safe and that our military men and women are taken care of, he's going to need really experienced individuals who have that veteran experience, who have the knowledge of how the military functions, to be on his team. And that's a great example. You know, there are some folks out there who don't know what they don't know.
Well, let me ask you this, Governor. When you were running for president, you know, one of the things you had said was the fact that we need somebody who's operated something. You had operated a state government. There are a number of other state governors who would have the same qualification, whereas Ted Cruz, first-term U.S. Senator.
Yeah, and I will tell you that having spent the time with the senator, I am convinced now that he has that understanding, that knowledge. And again, when no one knows everything about the federal government, I mean, it's just impossible for them to, if anybody stands up and says, I know everything about everything, you might be a little suspect. Senator Cruz is knowledgeable of a vast array of how the government works. What I'm looking for is someone who is a principled conservative and has always maintained that principled conservativeship, not just being for whatever they're going to be for to get your vote at this particular point in time. That principled conservative status is going to be very important as we go forward.
Yeah, Governor Perry, you say that that's one of the reasons that you like him, is because he'll stand up for an issue even if his stance isn't the popular one. But what do you say about critics who say he's hard to get along with?
Well, what I say is that, you know, my early days in the governorship, I vetoed 82 bills my first session of the legislature, and people went, oh, my God, you can't do that. You've destroyed your reputation. You can never get along with the House or the Senate. And what it is, it's setting the marker. It's basically saying, here's my philosophical position. Sometimes you got to hit the mule upside the head with the two before to get its attention. I think that's exactly what the senator's done. Now, people know where he's going to stand. Now,
Bob Dole is somebody who said, I looked at Ted Cruz, I look at Donald Trump, it's a two-man race, and I go with Trump. What do you have? What don't you like about Trump?
Well, I would tell Senator Dole that maybe if he spent the real quality time that I spent with Senator Cruz, he'd have a different outlook. And I think that's really true. This is an individual I got to see, that I got to really spend some time with.
Governor, how much time did you spend with Donald Trump?
You know, I've been around Donald Trump a time or two and had the opportunity to have some conversations with him. My issue is one about when there are 22 movement conservatives who stand up and say, you know, we got a real issue with the positions and the changing of positions, then I think all people, whether they're in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, wherever, you know, need to step back and say, you know, what is the philosophical core here? And I don't have to ask that question about Ted Cruz. I know for a fact this is a committed conservative. He's always been there. He hadn't changed his position on issues. Listen, he's a courageous man, and that's one of the great aspects of leadership. You know, a person.
So this is an
who is
anti-Trump,
courageous.
Governor. This is an anti-Trump. This is pro-Cruz.
Oh, absolutely, this is pro-Cruz. Listen, you know, I'm going to be for the Republican nominee, whoever that individual is going to be. But I came to the conclusion that looking at who is in this race at this particular point in time, who has the opportunity to win Iowa, to go forward, to be our nominee, that Ted Cruz represents, and he can put together a coalition of disaffected Democrats, of minorities, of women that are ready for a principled conservative to lead this country, to have a commander-in-chief that our military can stand with and know that they're going to present our best positions to keep this country safe.
All right. Former Texas Governor Rick Perry endorsing Ted Cruz live on our air this morning from Austin. Governor, thank you very much.